Lade is an island. Off Miletus, the seagate of the richest city in Ionia, they had the ships to hold Miletus. They lost Lade because the League would not take a 3-ship city's drills, and Samos took the Persian deal. 4 years earlier, Miletus was the glory of Ionia, and it started a revolt. Aristagoras had botched a grab at Naxos. He could not take the island himself. His uncle Chios, the tyrant, held at Susa, sent a message to Tude on a man's head. Rise. Chios wanted a war so the king would send him home. Athens sent 20 ships. Erythrae sent 5. They marched inland, took Sardis, and burned the temple of Cybele. The Persians caught them on the road back at Ephesus and broke them. Athens went home. Those 20 ships are 4 years gone by the morning we are here for. The revolt did not go home. Aristagoras ran and died in Thrace. That is not this battlefield. Cyprus was lost. The mainland cities were ground down, one by one. By 494, the Persians had joined their land power into one army and pointed it at one city. They took less account of the other fortresses. Miletus. Ionian deputies met at the Pan-Ionium. Decision: raise no land army against that host. Milesians hold their own walls. Every other ship, to the last hull, gathers at Lade to fight for Miletus at sea. Command of the island is command of the harbour. Herodotus. This Lade is a small island lying off the city of Miletus. Hold the island and you hold the sea gate. Lose it and the city is next. East to west, the line: Miletus 80, Priene 12, Myus 3, Teos 17, Chios 100, Erythrae 8, Phocaea 3, Lesbos 70, Aeolians not Ionians, Samos 60 on the west wing, 353 triremes. 9 contingents, not all Ionia. Ephesus is not in the line. Colophon is not in the line. The list is the list. The other side, Herodotus gives 600. That is his number. There is no replacement total. Phoenicians most eager. Cyprians newly subdued. Cilicians, Egyptians with them. The engine on that water is a Phoenician fleet, not a slogan about east and west. No Persian admiral is named. The Persian generals counted the 353 and were afraid they were too weak. If they lost the sea, they could not take Miletus, and they would be evilly entreated by Darius. So they did not only come to fight, they came to buy the line apart. This is immediately after the Persians arrive at Miletus. They called the men Aristagoras had thrown out, the old tyrants, and sent them in the dark. Each city got the same offer: peel off and your temples stand. Fight and the boys are made eunuchs, the girls go to Bactra, the land goes to someone else. The Ionians refused. Each thought the letter was for them alone. A Phocaean general named Dionysius told them they were on the edge of a razor. Free men or runaway slaves. Put yourselves in my hands. They did, not as admiral of the League, as the man who would drill them. Every day, ships in column. The Diecplus punched through the line, hit the beam or the stern, fighting men armed, then back to the anchor. 7 days they obeyed. On the 8th they had had enough of the labor and the sun. Many were sick. They called him a Phocaean braggart who brought 3 ships. Better to endure the slavery that was coming than this. They raised tents on the island. They sat in the shade. They would not embark. They would not drill. The Samian generals remembered a message. Iacches, son of Silo's son, the tyrant Aristagoras had deposed, had already offered the Persian terms. They looked at the tents. They judged the king unbeatable. Beat this fleet, they said, and another would come 5 times as large. They took the deal, not as a cartoon, as a calculation. Save the temples, save the houses. The Phoenician fleet came out. The Ionians put out in column. Herodotus will not say who was brave. They all blame each other. Samos raised sails and went home, all but 11 ships. Those 11 captains disobeyed their admirals and fought. The people of Samos later cut their names and their fathers' names into a pillar in the marketplace. The city remembered the 11. It also took the deal. Lesbos saw the neighbors go and went. Most of the Ionians did likewise. Chios would not be cowards. 100 ships, 40 picked men on each. Betrayed by most of the line they fought on, broke the enemy's line, took many ships and lost most of their own. That is the last stand at Lade, not a cartoon about Samos. This. The wrecks that still floated ran for Mycale. The crews marched overland and came into Ephesian land at night during the Thesmophoria. The Ephesians thought they were raiders after the women. They killed the Chians. Dionysius saw the cause lost. He took 3 captured ships not home. Phocaea would be enslaved, but west to pirate Carthaginians and Tyrrhenians. No Greeks. The Persians had the sea. They sat down on Miletus by land and water, mined the walls, used every device, and took the city in the 6th year after Aristagoras rose. The year is 494. Most of the men were slain, the women and children enslaved. Didyma, the temple, the shrine, the oracle, plundered and burnt. No headcount. The fire is the picture. The captives went to Susa. Darius settled them at Amp, on the water where the Tigris issues. The land nearest the city and the plain went to Persians, the hills to Carians of Pedasa. Samos was not burnt, the only rebel city whose temple still stood because of the desertion. Iacches came home on a Phoenician deck. Some Samians would not live under him. They took their families and sailed for Sicily. The city that left the line was also a city that split. The next year the fleet wintered at Miletus, then netted the islands. Chios, Lesbos, Tenedos, boys made eunuchs, maidens taken, cities and temples burnt. Herodotus, thrice had the Ionians been enslaved. That is 493. Artaphernes measured the land and fixed the tribute. The year 490 is another war. Datis the Mede sails then, with 600 triremes from Cilicia. Marathon is then, not this morning. Do not collapse the two. The Ionians had the ships to hold Miletus. The League would not take a 3-ship city's drills. Samos took the deal. 11 stayed. The city was spared. Lade is a hill now, 3 inconspicuous hills on a flat alluvial plain. The city is inland. The fight was at sea. Season 2 is the rise of Persia. Subscribe if you want the next one.